Third stream of the day. Hype. Yippee. Be back, I think. Thanks to those of you who stuck around for 20 minutes or whatever. I'm sure I couldn't look at my empty browser page and like not close it, but thanks for being here still if you're here. I'm afraid specifically that we lost our new friend, Covert so-and-so, because they typed something fun I was going to respond to, but alas, Covert Joystick may have disappeared. But all the regulars who stuck around, thanks for doing so, and anyone else. Oh shit, I didn't open, hold on, I gotta open Ghost Chat. Anyway, I took notes about all the things people said. I figured it'd be easier to go through my thoughts if I noted them down as opposed to trying to scroll through chat that no one cares about anymore. Had to refresh, oh. Please refresh if here before crash. Or, I don't know, first 30 minutes of stream. Okay. Anyway, hi to everyone who stuck around. I appreciate you. I don't know what my viewer count was before, but it's going to be like a third of whatever it was, because that's how it works. All the lurkers get invalidated if the stream blinks. I'm reading my thoughts a lot for those who were here before, based on what people were saying. Sparrow, who's at the store right now, I think, said, if I shove my power unit in my butthole, that could be a profitable stream. That's true, except I couldn't do that on here. We'd have to do that on Kick. And I don't stream on Kick, just here in YouTube. Because YouTube doesn't have ads, for those who didn't know, so if you don't have a sub, you know, you can link the thoughts together yourself. I'm not promoting anything. I would never. Please don't kill my stream again. Tons of people said I should go grab snacks or whatever. Food's not gonna fix my issues, so I didn't go do that. I just sat here waiting for a Windows update. Covert Joystick, if they were still around, or are still around, they said, I've just placed the droid in the house, put a katana next to him, and a missile in his lap. I'm sure that missile would look good between his legs, just like a big ol' missile. Katana and missile, though. Haven't found those yet. People were saying, or I think Haley said, we're good now if you need a breaker to end for the night, though, that's fine. But no, I didn't exactly intend for my stream to kill itself and then ruin my evening. So I just restarted stuff and hopefully it stays put. It worked earlier today. It worked all last night. But I'm streaming tonight and I'm gonna stream tomorrow, so if the shit acts up still, I don't know what to do to fix it. We'll just have to keep blinking. I'll have 47 VODs, I guess. Thanks, though. JR said, you hate your voice so much. Your friend sent you a clip and you refuse to watch it. You don't want to hear your own voice. That's rough. I got used to hearing my voice throughout like editing videos and stuff. I don't really hate it anymore, but sometimes I hear too much of it and I need to not. It's crazy how much our voices sound different inside our heads than outside. Resonance and all that, you know? My voice always sounds like deeper and manlier, and then I hear it in clips and I'm like, oh, that's a little cringe actually. Also, JR said, when was the last time my computer had a nappy nap? Probably like a week or two ago, if I'm honest. Or maybe when I had to restart my system to secure boot it for COD. That would have been more than a couple weeks ago, though. I just don't really do it. I put it to sleep most of the time because the boot cycle takes so long. Meepsy said she gets triggered by angry people. Yet you still come around here. I appreciate you coming around here. I'm sorry that it triggers you. I get angry a lot. Oh, the thought I was trying to make before my stream died, I was trying to explain this, is that I'm very angry, and sometimes I'll be angry to like objects, but it's objects that can't break. You know, like I'll slam my hands on my desk, and the worst that'll happen is like my camera gets jostled. Or like I'll punch a pillow or whatever, or I'll like throw a pillow or something that doesn't matter across the room. But not around people. And like if I slam my desk on stream, it's whatever. Some people think that's funny or whatever, but... Or as you'll see, I'll like hit myself if I have like physical anger I need to exert in some way. I'm fine with like taking a beating because like I'm not going to do anything permanently damaging. as far as I know. And if I do, maybe I'll be lucky. Like, if I make myself brain dead or whatever because I drummed on my head too hard, then, like, maybe I won't feel so angry if I hit the right nerve doing so. But yeah, like, I would never hit another person. I would never throw objects near people. I would never break stuff on purpose because that's just wasteful. I think it's stupid when people, like, throw their controller into their TV and break both the controller and their TV, like, all that type of shit. Or, like, I saw a thing on the internet the other day that I couldn't conceive. I think a guy was sitting in the stands at a sporting event, and they were sitting in one of those seats that's like right in front of a railing, and they lost a sports bet on their phone, and their reaction was to take their phone and slam it double-handed, like wielding a sword or an axe or something, slam it into the railing until the screen and everything shattered and they couldn't use their phone anymore. And then following this, they like dumbfoundedly tried to scroll on their phone and continue sports betting, but their phone was totaled because of their own ragey actions. And I just thought to myself, if you lose a sports bet or whatever, how is the answer to that also costing yourself a brand new phone? So I don't break stuff. You'll sometimes see me, like, take objects that can break and, like, throw them around my room, you know? Like, if Princess Kenny ever nosedives off the desk, I might just, like, chuck it over my shoulder. But this is a carpeted room and stuff. Like, if things aren't gonna break or whatever, I'll manhandle them a little bit. But for the most part, you know, I respect the things I have, I respect the things other people have, and I don't want to ever create an environment that's seen as unsafe. However, people think environments where people are screaming are unsafe. I do scream, not at people, but, like, usually at myself. And the only time I'll ever scream at a person is if we're trying to have a meaningful discussion and they're very obviously disregarding the things I'm saying. We're like 30 minutes into our so-called discussion, I'm feeling unheard, so I start repeating myself loudly because I'm feeling lost or whatever and just desperately want to be heard. But I don't like yelling at people. I will spit venom a little bit at people if they're being an asshole and I feel a need to say something about it. But I won't scream. I'll just talk with, like, you know, an amount of meaning or force in my voice. But if I ever scream or yell or, like, get physically violent, it's usually at or about myself. And in my own space, right? Like, no one's here to hear me screaming. If I want to scream, shit, fuck, piss, I'm an asshole at the top of my lungs. Like, I guess if I'm streaming, people will hear it, but outside of streaming, like, no one in my house is gonna hear how loudly I'm screaming, or whatever kind of, like, negative feelings would come of that. So I'm aware of my surroundings, and I keep it contained, and if I'm ever around another person or whatever, I don't act this way. I don't think streaming is the same as being around other people, so I will, like, do things to myself on stream that I would do in the privacy of my own home. But if I was with another person, like, I wouldn't do that. Like, if I was sitting on a couch with someone and I was getting mad at myself, I wouldn't violently drum on my head and scream out loud like I did on stream. I'm very aware of my surroundings, and I don't necessarily want it to be contagious. Did my stream die again? I see a red connection thing. Also, wait, hold on. It buffered? It's okay. What does that even mean? It buffered. What does that even mean? You'll say you promise I'm good. Yeah, I know, but, like, is this foreshadowing? I'm not even playing the game yet. Like, it's open. Does anyone understand how Task Manager works? If I were to open Task Manager, could I pinpoint why this is happening? One thing I haven't done is checked, like, if things are downloading things. My scheduled downloads aren't set to run until Monday. The Binding of Isaac installed itself at 8:05, which would have been, I don't know, before I restarted or something. No, I understand that it's slightly skipped. I'm worried that it's gonna, like, get worse if I start playing the game. Anyway, rant about my anger aside, Meepsy, I'm sorry if me getting angry upsets you. I was gonna joke that I got all our angry genes in the womb, but I don't want to create a space that you feel uncomfortable in. But that is how I exert myself and how my anger works. because I am alone in my house and I feel that it's safe and not really a contagious thing or whatever to exert myself in that way. But you know, on stream or whatever, like maybe it comes through, so I'm sorry if that happens. But I do get angry easily, especially at myself, because I feel like I know what I'm capable of doing. And then when I prove to myself that I'm not, I feel very disappointed in myself. And I feel very betrayed by my own perception of myself by thinking I could handle something that I very clearly can't, because I then display my inability to do stuff. And I feel very like inept and like I'm regressing, and I feel really poorly about myself. So that's why a lot of my like anger comes quickly at myself and then is directed inward, because I feel very self-loathy when I fail myself, because I feel like I have an understanding of what I should be capable of doing, and I constantly fall short of that. Anyway, Meepsy, I love about and carry you, and I'm sorry if I trigger you when I get mad. I guess I'll try to consider that stuff. People said we love you, we're sorry, we'll be here, etc, etc. I'm sure most of you are still here, so thanks if you did stick around. Sorry to those who didn't. I really hate when my streams crash though, because I don't know how to fix them, which is why I'm bugging out that it buffered for 2 seconds and we're not even playing the game. Sparrow said he was going to the store. I don't remember if I saw him come back. Skimming, I don't think so. But we'll miss him until he does. I hope he enjoys getting snackies and stuff. Julie said this reminded me. Oh, Thule. Thule said this reminded me Windows wants to update the past couple days. I didn't say it was required, or it didn't say it was required though, so I didn't. When I finally left home to go to the store and came back, it decided to download anyway and wanted me to restart, so I hit pause updates and it went away, but I know it's still downloaded. For me, I find that if my computer says that there's a Windows update, I like have to install it before I stream again or it will fuck with stream. However, I've had that Windows update pending for like 2 weeks or something. It's been a while. I've streamed a handful of times without updating it. I'll usually test it, and then if my stream gets wonky, I'll just be like, fuck, I gotta update Windows. I don't know why the two rely on each other so much, but apparently that happens. Like sometimes OBS will act up and like do what it do, and it'll be because I didn't update Windows. Anyway, that was my whole string of thoughts. Now I can delete the note I made on this topic, because who cares? But yeah, thanks again to everyone who hung around. Sorry for the rage and the shitty stream and stuff. I hope it doesn't repeat, but I am not the arbiter of what goes on around here. My computer and internet and OBS and Twitch and whatever the fuck else are.
Trees.
So, you know, it's not something I can fix, I guess. Snacks are for the computer. I don't have snacks though. Also, Nicola, yeah, so I just needed to add a launch argument to my Chrome so I can run the old ad blocker that was forcibly disabled. Nice, I guess. Good job. Way to hack it. I said that before the next crash, but it still applies. No, I know. I don't know. Sometimes people say stuff that is, well, one, against like the norm of the stream. And I don't want to just like say, ugh, you should know this, because that's not really the vibe. But I want to reiterate, like earlier, when I needed to finish that game, and someone said like, oh, you should take a break, you should switch games or whatever. And I was just like, no, I literally need to do this today, even though it sucks. And I'm stubborn enough to finish it. It wasn't meant to be like, go fuck yourself, you said the wrong thing. It was just like, this is the way that it is. This is the way that the stream is. This is the way that I am. I'm not saying it is what it is, but that's the way that I operate and how the streams need to go, because I'm opting into something I need to get done or whatever. So I was just saying like, regardless of how badly I need a break, I'm convinced that I need to do this more, and I'm stubborn enough to stick with it. So I just said that. Or like when people say like, oh, if you're getting tech issues, just retire for the night. Like, no, my night is supposed to be spent streaming, and just because my stream doesn't want to stream, if I'm not fully blocked from doing it, I'm gonna brute force it and just hope to God that it doesn't repeat. Problem. This happens every time my shit crashes out. I've never had a stream crash and then not come back unless I was like already rage quitting and then stream killed itself. It's like, fine, then I will quit. But generally speaking, like, there are just certain things that I won't deviate from. Like, I don't need a snack. I ate today. I ate in the break between streams. I had dinner. I went and got $50 of Taco Bell and had, like, 4 items from it. I'm good. I'm set. I've been drinking water this whole time. I guess I could go top this off, but there's still, like, a third of it left or whatever. Like, I'm chilling. I don't need a snack. Snacks aren't gonna fix my tech issues. Snacks aren't gonna make me feel better. What would make me feel better is if my escape that is playing games and streaming didn't fucking kill itself when I was in the midst of it. Or when I'm in the midst of, like, welcoming new friends to the stream, which, you know, is a song and dance all of its own that never works anyway, but it feels bad, and it sucks that, like, we've been talking about my stream not working for, like, an hour now, as opposed to just streaming and playing the game that I was vibing on. We were joking about, like, fucking an Android or whatever, and now I'm gonna be, like, launching the game, still pissed off about my tech issues, constantly, like, rubber banding my neck to see if my stream is still alive. So it just sucks that this happens and it ruins the vibe and whatever, and if I keep streaming or whatever for the next 6 hours, then so be it. Like, it'll eventually fade, but, like, God, does it mar the mood. Whatever. JR, you just sound like a fucking loser. Meepsy, you hate hearing your own voice? I like your voice, Meepsy. Not that my opinion matters, but I find comfort in hearing you talk. JR, I like your voice too, actually. There are many voices I don't like, to be fair, so I would basically say this to everybody. I think everyone's voice establishes their own identity, and even if it sounds a certain way, oh, it's not deep enough, oh, it's too raspy, oh, it's too quiet, oh, it's... I think it's fun that everyone has their own unique identity through their own voice. I'm also a big fan of, like, voice work and stuff, like people that do voice acting and can make their voices sound certain ways. So I think voices are just cool. But, you know, voices are... Oh, look, I'm getting that thing again. I'm sure the stream is buffering. Also, my frame rate just jumped up to 42 fucking thousand. Even though I have a setting that caps it at 7,500. Can someone who understands OBS tell me why that would happen? It says my connection is bad and I'm trying to send a bitrate of 40-some thousand. And then it, like, settles back in and does my usual 7,500. Why would it spike to 40,000? Rate control, constant bitrate 7,500. Keyframe interval 0 seconds? Wait, didn't I used to set this to 2? Yippee, I might be getting throttled by my ISP. It is the 6th day of the month. And I haven't even streamed that much. Is there a way to check that? OBS keyframe interval for bit for 1080p stream. Doesn't Twitch do max 6K? No. No, you can override it. There's a setting in OBS to override it, and they support up to a certain amount depending on what your resolution is. But, like, the generally agreed upon average or max for the last, like, 5 years has been 7,500. Make the keyframe interval 2 seconds because this is what Twitch recommends. If you leave it at 0, the keyframe interval will sometimes go as high as 8 seconds. I don't even know what that means. Apparently it should be 2. I don't like that it's variable or auto. Can I change encoder settings during a stream? Guess you're running old nudes thinking 6K was max. No, if you watch any like stream setup guide, they'll tell you like use the override function and stream up to 7500 if you want a crisper visual. I've been running 7500 for 4 years at least. I think I did an OBS update that like wiped my visual settings once, so then when I watched another guide to set them back, I learned that and I was like, shit, I wasn't doing that before. Or I was having some weird like stuttering or something and I learned that it was because my bitrate was too low. We'll see if changing the keyframe interval does anything. I don't know, man. I don't know how this shit works. But anyway, yeah, voices. I don't know. I tend to like everyone's voice. There are some voices that are grating, but because it's like artificially grating, you know, shout out RFK Jr. Or people that are whiny. Like there are some cadences I find annoying. Shout out Brandon. But like for the most part, voices act as a snowflake, like individual identity. And if you're just like a normal person to listen to, you have a cadence that's acceptable societally, and you don't sound like you're bitching all the time, or you don't sound like a brain rotted Chad or whatever. You know, I tend to enjoy what your voice sounds like. Especially if I've talked to you guys before. Like, whenever people talk in chat, I kind of like read their chats in their voice in my head. And it feels comfortable. Because I know what everyone sounds like for the most part. Unless you're a stranger and I don't know what you sound like, but... Although, sometimes I read Meepsy's shit aloud and I don't glottal stop, so maybe I don't hear your voice entirely, but I hear your tone at a minimum. It's because I like all your voices and I feel comforting, like, knowing what you guys sound like. So, even if you think you sound... whatever JR said, like an idiot or whatever. Like, I don't agree. But also, yeah, like, hearing your voice outside of yourself is always foreign. Because you don't have the same resonance inside your head or whatever, and you think you sound a certain way, and, like, you hear yourself talk and you sound fine. But, you know, then you hear it back on playback, you're like, whoa, where's my timbre or whatever? I sound like a... whatever. I always sound like a teenager to myself, but whatever. I always was waiting for my... As I grew up, I was waiting for my voice to drop. Like, I've always sounded like this. And as I got older, I was like, oh boy, one day my voice is gonna drop. And, like, this is where it landed, you know? It, like, dove off the edge of the pool into the shallow end. I'm like, ah, fuck. Well, I guess we rock it. One day the balls will drop. I mean, I don't know. One time I was doing a cooking stream. This got clipped once. One time I was doing a cooking stream where the audio was fucked up for some reason. And for like the first portion of my stream, my voice was like lower and sounded a bit like a Muppet. And then I unplugged it and fixed it. And then I was like, oh god, I sound worse with that off, actually. But yeah, I don't know, I like other people's voices. I understand not liking your own voice, but I don't know. I think it's cool to just embrace how you sound and realize that you're unique, and like, if people hear your voice, they know it's you, if they know you. And that's cool, I think. Although, you should definitely be aware of your cadence and be aware of how you present. And restart router.